organizing this ninth time now is the task force of external borders. So we have a lot of people from the external border of EU or external border of their own country. Because there are people from, for example, Ukraine-Russia border too. Here are also both Ukrainians. Okay, Russians left already, but we have had Ukrainians and Russians together. Now the Ukrainians kicked the Russians away. Okay, it was a joke. It was a joke. Anyway, a lot of people from Balkan area, like Serbia, Croatia, Kosovo, Romania, Poland, also the Western part.
And you are all warmly welcome to Lassi Vapauden Aukio. Vapauden Aukio is the name for this business park, and I'm responsible for business management for this business park. And as you have visited University Campus, there is another business park. At that area, we used to be one business park, and I was director for that whole. But just this year we got separated, and we run now two different individual businesses. Assi Group is a local family company owning this site, and the Skinnarila Campus Business Park is owned by Investors House, a kind of publicly listed investment company. So, I have a little bit about my background. I have studied here in the university, graduated 1992, and made some business career for 12 years in other cities in Finland, in the city of Jyväskylä and Tampere. But one day I found that I find my wife from Lappeenranta, and she just decided that we will be returning here. So in 2003, I found myself living here in Lappeenranta. After, when I left 1992, I decided that this is it. I will never come back to Lappeenranta. And I started as a business incubation management for the Skinnarila business park. And my first office room was located in such a way that I could see my student apartment from it. And at that moment I considered that maybe I haven't got very far in my life. Experts, and they produced several ERP systems, CRM systems for companies, and that company was originated from an idea of two students. And they visited me the first week when I started to work here in Lappeenranta. They gave me a presentation that they have an idea. We will make a ERP system which will run in internet, and we will sell it by phone. And I wasn't so convinced about that, but resulting situation today is that Norwegian ICT company Visma acquired their business a few years ago, and now they employ 100 employees here, and I'm happy to be their landlord here and continue working with them. And although my main responsibility is to run our rental and service business here, the best part of this job is that I have an opportunity to work with 50 different businesses on a daily basis. Normally I will be one of the very first to hear any news about the companies. Because if any big news are coming, new product development or anything, they probably start preparing by asking if there be any more room for us on a basis for our company. And the actual business was sold away 2008. And of course, the entrepreneurs, they were very successful with the negotiations, and they got a bunch of money. And they started investing that money. And this house is one of those investments. We used to have, in Finland there is in Finland and over Nordic countries, or for example in St. Petersburg and in Estonia, there is a business park company called Technopolis. We used to be part of Technopolis, but Technopolis decided to concentrate on industrial expansion, for example to Sweden and Norway and other Baltic countries, and at that time they were willing to sell these premises here in Lappeenranta. So I was in opportunity to sell this site to this ASSI group, and later as we had worked together with the entrepreneur, he was willing to offer me a job here. So I moved to work here. First I had this building constructed, then I sold this to ASSI group, and now I run it for. You never know how it goes. Every small business has opportunity to grow big, and every big business has sometimes been small. I couldn't have guessed that this Visma business with 2 students would grow like this. There have been 10 other stories which haven't been so successful here in Lappeenranta. But luckily some have been. If we take only a few snaps about what kind of business here are, there's some transportation business, engineering businesses, ICT businesses. We also have these healthcare district services for.
Our company's strength is traveler service, and that's what we do. It was founded in this city in '91 by a single person. He still works for the company. He's the CEO, Pasilorka. But over the year, we acquired quite a few people, and we have, I think, 6 or 7 permanent positions, and the rest are interviewers. We have offices in Lappeenranta, in Helsinki, in St. Petersburg, though in St. Petersburg is kind of more operative office. This where you can bring clients or where the accounting is taking place. The main project we have is the TAG border research project, and for that project we interview 20,000, sometimes a little bit over 20,000 foreign visitors all around the Finland. It's listed 12 different border stations, and by border stations we consider border stations over here on the east side, also airports and seaports. A couple of airports up in Lapland. We don't have coverage for all the border stations. For example, the border between Finland and Norway and Finland and Sweden is not covered because it's challenging and also requires a lot of resources. Our main customers are the public companies, public institutions like Visit Finland, Statistical Institute of Finland.
According to newspaper articles and so on, I believe that.
Good news, everyone. I am the last speaker of today. Usually the last speaker is either the keynote or the comic relief, but I will leave it to you which one am I. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Karo Pohjola, and I was almost showing my profile here, but apparently not. Okay, screw it.
Now you
Anyway.
don't show anything.
Yeah. Нет проблем, нормально, я катастрофа. Yeah? I believe. From which countries are you from? Latvia?
Ukraine.
Lots of
Ukraine?
Poland.
Well, lots of noise at the same time. Okay.
Ukraine, Romania, Serbia, Croatia, Italy, Spain, Poland, yes, Romania,
Finland.
Finland. Yes.
Aha. So many countries which I don't remember half of. But yeah, thank you very much. My name is Karo Pohjola. This is how I look when I have a professional taking my picture. This is the reality. But yeah, it's more or less the same. And the reason I'm speaking here today is, of course, because Johannes asked me to. But also I'm quite familiar with your program, and I have some experience on companies that students have formed here in Lappeenranta and in Finland. And it would be cool to share my experience with you guys. Do you still have just a bit of energy to listen?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any slides. Is someone disappointed? Okay, cool. I'm coming closer. Also, I have Walter somewhere. Are you filming this? Then I'm probably staying at the same spot. Is this good? Хорошо. I've been working for a few years now I'm a student myself, by the way, and it wasn't that long ago I was also young, but I'm still a student at the university here in Lappeenranta. And I've been working for a few years now very closely with startup companies formed by students here in Lappeenranta. I currently also work at one of them, but that's a different story. But anyway, what you heard previously, I was staying back there for a while and I was listening some of the presentations, and I know that first of all Lappeenranta is a very small city, right? And all of the business mayhem is happening at the capital, Helsinki, of course. That's bullshit, don't believe that. Even if we have a statistic person, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but every statistic shows that any city, no matter the size, if they have a university, they have a very good future. And here in Lappeenranta we have a technical university, not just any university, but technical, and there are 2 technical universities in Finland, 3 depending how you count. But still, most of the universities here in Finland are commercial, business, arts, social healthcare, this kind of stuff. But we have technical university, and that brings us jobs for a long time, and also studies and research and everything. What we did here in Lappeenranta is something that is quite common in Finnish universities nowadays, and many countries have similar stuff, so this might be familiar topic, but students form societies, and these students focus on startup life. They study startup culture on their own. They form companies together. Do you have this kind of societies? It's always in the university though, but still. Does it sound familiar at all? Okay, cool. Nowadays it's very common that every university in Finland has one of those societies. They are called entrepreneurship societies. They always form a board of 6 to 12 people, and they arrange lots of events for students. And what we did, what a few universities nowadays do, not universities, the societies, we hold business incubators. Familiar with the term? Okay, cool. And we use public funding and some university funding, and for the last 2 years, almost 3 now, I have been planning and executing the business incubator for university here in Lappeenranta. And we have, is it me? Sorry. What did I say? I lost my thought.
You were managing the business incubator.
Oh, that I was. Maybe I had some idea behind that also. Okay, cool. For the last 2 years, we have been able to form, come on, give me a break. We have formed over 30 companies so far, always founded by students. And the ideas, of course, they vary, because some first of all, there are 2 categories if you are business to business or you are selling something to the consumers. The ideas for selling something for the consumers is something like we develop your pictures from Instagram and stuff, pretty light stuff, okay? But you still, if you want to make it a business, you have to go this basic, like provide the mental facility for everything, of course. And also, since we are a technical university and we have the most patents in Finland from all the universities, we have a lot of ideas that need to be commercialized. So we divide also students to the groups. They form a company, they take an idea from a university, and then they start working on it with my help and with my colleagues' help. And this brings a lot of companies to this area. So yeah, we are 70,000 people, but we are also a very active community, especially around the university area. So don't get fooled by our size or that we are not Helsinki. More than 30 companies, guess how many have been successful for the last 2 years?
29.
3 is closer, but it's a bit positive still. 2.
2.
Yeah, and this is more than average, because usually even one out of 1,000 companies actually end up doing something that is profitable or meaningful. So it is the part of the culture that you try a lot of companies before one of them kind of hits it on, if ever. And this is also very, very deep in the entrepreneurship culture, entrepreneurship society culture, but very far from the professors and everything. They think that you can only try once and you do it right and then it's done. And we do as much research as it takes. And after 10 years they have made all this research, which is not good anymore. So entrepreneurship societies, this is a funny situation where students teach professors. Of course, because students are more familiar with the practical entrepreneurship life of today, and professors are more like they have this small bubble of their own truth and they don't understand anything else. Kudos, I'm pretty sure no professors here, okay. Anyway, any questions so far? Because I can go on forever, but I need to take a break, so. Okay, cool. One of these companies that was in my business incubator last summer, they founded it at the same time, and it's called Finnos. I'm going to show you the website, because it's really cool and explains nothing. Oh, maybe English for you guys. And this is kind of the like the best kind of story that can happen from the university. I guess it's this one also, but still, try to stay with me. They found out that there is a very big sawmill industry here in Finland, because we have lots of wood, and wood is valuable, and it also grows by its own pretty much, so it's a good investment also. But only 80% of the wood can be used, and 20% goes to waste. And there is a certain reason for that, but the explanation is very long and technical, so I will save you from it. But the point is that these guys realized that if you know something from the earlier phase of the sawmill process, then you can use 90% of the wood. If they didn't measure the quality of the wood kind of early enough to understand how to use it as a raw material. So these guys made some calculations, and they realized that, hey, you can measure this quality at the earlier stage, and then you can use 90% of the wood. And with the big sawmill in Finland, that means savings for more than 1 million euros per year. So it is a very big business, 4.7 billion euros just in Finland. That if you can provide enough understanding for the instrument provider, then they can see that, okay, this might be actually a beneficial or commercial thing, and then they loan you money with a very low interest. So the guys did it, and the sawmill industry loved it, and now they have been working for a year, and the first fiscal year ends next month, and it's the revenue is somewhere around 2.5 million.